Okay, I have not views
Hello.
on. Okay, we have one view so far. So I don't know if we want to greet up or just chat up so long, but welcome to the one.
Okay, well, hello and welcome to the Motley Mix podcast, an energetic, positive space discussing some fun topics, sharing experiences, and shedding some light on traveling the globe. Thank you for joining us today on the Sunday Salad Sessions with 3 couples from South Africa living in Cambodia currently. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. So I'm Minx, 30-year-old hairstylist, educator / DJ photographer. I love food, animals, and singing in the rain. And this is my wife.
Hi guys, I'm Manandi. I'm 27 years old. I am a qualified makeup and special effects artist, currently an English teacher in Cambodia. I'm also a lover of all animals and nature, so you'll never catch me walking past an animal without kissing it hello.
Hi guys, my name's Yolandi. First I want to say thank you for tuning in and listening to us. Thank you for joining us in the conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it a lot. So I'm 25 years old and I'm currently living in Cambodia with my fiance. We have been living here for 2 years already. I currently teach English as an international English teacher and we really enjoy being here.
Hello guys, I'm Niels. I'm Yolanda's fiance. So yeah, we've been living in Cambodia for about a year now, loving every moment of it. I'm a qualified technician and I'm currently working as an English teacher.
Andrea, over to you guys.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Ina. We're also living in Cambodia at the moment. I've been always in retail, but at the moment I'm also a teacher in Cambodia, a second language for the little Cambodians, and we're really enjoying it, and we are excited to tell you all about our experience this side. This is my husband, Andre.
Yeah, hi, my name's Andre. I am far younger than what I look, and I also come from South Africa, been in the retail industry in South Africa. Just over a year ago, year and 4 or 5 months ago, I think it is, we moved to Cambodia as well, and we're also both teaching in Cambodia. I really enjoyed the opportunity at a new life and a new beginning. And yes, hopefully we can share our experiences from when we left to when we arrived with you. This is what the maiden voyage of Motley Mix is all about. So welcome to the Motley Mix channel. And of course, this part is the Sunday Salad. We hope to have it every Sunday with you. And this next 2 Sundays, we are going to be, next 3 Sundays, I think, depending, we are going to be just dealing with our trip from South Africa, how we managed it and what made us do it, and how our experiences as we went along, and the experiences as we hit Cambodia, other than the smells. But yeah, so the 6 of us hopefully will be able to answer questions and comments, and hopefully take from you as well questions and comments that you would like answered. And maybe topics, because we'll go into different topics as well after Cambodia. You can only do a trip to Cambodia for so long. But yeah, that's what we hope to be all about, and just have, as Minx mentioned, uplifting, happy, good times vibe.
Positive, energetic.
There we go. Positive, energetic, etc., etc. So without ado, we'll kick off with the first question we look at answering is, guys, the question that we're going to start off is, what made you as a couple decide to move to Cambodia? What made you as a couple decide to move to Cambodia? And we will start down there with me.
Yes, we'll kick it off. So essentially, we got married in 2018, and we decided very quickly after that it was the right time for the both of us to start looking at a new journey and experiencing life a little differently, further than just our own country. So we went for what I think most people go for. Let's do Australia.
Yeah.
Let's go for the most expensive thing because, why not? We learned very quickly that selling everything would get us 2 steps closer and about 17 steps back. because it just didn't get you close enough. Then we got very inspired by the two of you, actually. There we go, that one. And we realized that with the two of you doing this move, you kind of inspired us to look at Cambodia a bit differently. And to be very honest, you guys are the reason why we are here. That's why we chose Cambodia.
Oh, it's our fault now.
And yeah, no, well, not fault. No. We're having a great time.
Inspiration, yes.
You don't look so unhappy on the picture.
Oh gosh. So yeah, this is actually at one of the temples. So this is part of our experience. These are kind of the things that we're going to chat about going forward and showing you guys all about that jazz. But before I go too far in advance, I'm going to kick off to Alandi and Niels, and I want you guys to tell us what made you as a couple come to Cambodia.
Okay, so firstly, we have a mostly similar situation with you guys to moving overseas. At first, not Cambodia. We were looking at New Zealand or Australia as well. Unfortunately, that plan did not work out. At that time, my sister was already in Cambodia. Yes, financially, a big part of that. But my sister fortunately lived in Cambodia already. So if it wasn't for her, we would have never gotten the opportunity to come to Cambodia, because we saw that she made it work in Cambodia, and that motivated us to come to Cambodia. And but back home, before we came here, I didn't have a job, and so we went through financial stress at that time.
Yeah, and initially we did our TEFL certifications, and it's been a long thing coming. It's been coming for quite a while. Since we started thinking about going overseas, starting a life overseas. And so at the end of the day, I got retrenched in December 2019 or 2018, December 2018, I got retrenched from my job. And so we started weighing in our options of what to do, where to go, how are we going to continue now, because Yolandi wasn't working at that stage. It just wasn't feasible for her to work. And so we decided we're going to do it. We're going to head to Cambodia. We had a sister on this side, and they helped us to with everything that we needed to know. And we're also hoping to help other people to learn more.
Andre, you know what made you decide to come to Cambodia?
Well, you guys are young. I mean, you two are young couples. We are not that young anymore, but we're also not old. So it's a question of we can either make it an adventure and just pack up and come, or we can make it difficult for ourselves. So the reason why we decided to come is what was left for us on the other side. We worked ourselves. We worked every day. I mean, we didn't have a social life, really, because Andre was in retail. I wasn't in retail, but Andre was. So he worked 7 days a week. And that's not the life that we wanted. And yes, it was a big decision. I mean, we have family there. We have still children in South Africa. But at the end of the day, we're not getting younger, we're getting older. So we had to take the chance and take this adventure and make it the best one we can. So that's why we decided. And also, we also decided very quickly to come, because Andre thought about it for a while. But when we decided to come, it was in a period of 3 months, and we were in Cambodia. But I'm sure Andre will tell you all about the hiccups and the excitement about that.
Yeah, well, I decided because as Ina said, we also wanted the expensive move to go to New Zealand at first, and then we got a sort of a business opportunity in Johannesburg, from Johannesburg to Cape Town, from Cape Town to Johannesburg, and then things also went a little south. And in the end, also we had a friend here, and I went back into retail, and about a year before, one of the friends had been discussing that he was going to look at going to teach overseas as well. And I had not really given it too much thought, but it did plant the seed. and thought about it and thought about it. Towards the end of 2018, it was around about October, I think, 2018. I started like maybe contacting him, saying, you know, what's up? And he'd come to Cambodia, and yeah, I figured that not a bad idea. And yeah, it was about the 31st of December. We decided we'll do TEFL. We did it at high speed, and then we completed our TEFL. And 7th of March, we were on a plane to Cambodia as such. And that is our story. Just tied up the loop. Keeping your head above water. That's all we did. Is we woke up, we went down to work, you come back from work, and then you're drowning. You had no social life. You had no. We were surviving in South Africa. We weren't living. So yes, people would usually blame the country, blame everything else. It's just a second chance. And I think somewhere along the line, someone mentioned, you know, when the doors opened, it's time to go through.
Yes, it was the right time. I think it was just the right time.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, especially with the COVID.
Oh, yeah. Mention you're at this stage in our lives.
Thinking about the COVID and looking at a financial standpoint, for us, even with the COVID, our current financial situation in Cambodia is better than it would have been at home. So for us, we're still, during this COVID time, seeing the positive side and making the most of what we have, because we are more fortunate than most people, and we know that. For the opportunity that we got, we came to Cambodia with nothing, with no job, nothing, and we made something of what we had here, or what we have here. And the decision we made with coming to Cambodia, after 2 years, we don't regret a second of it, because it was the best decision that we as a couple made ever in the 3 years that we were dating. We're currently dating, so.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, what I can say is, since we moved to Cambodia, we have a life. We do work. Yes, we work. And when we're at school, we do work hard, because you are responsible to teach those little ones. But I mean, we have the most amazing social life. I mean, we have a lot of friends here, and we make a point of seeing each other all the time and keep in contact with each other all the time. Where in South Africa, it wasn't possible. You had to like make an appointment to see somebody. So yeah, no, we really enjoy it here. It's lovely.
Strangely, most of the friends are South African. I don't know. South Africa's moving to Cambodia.
Yes.
You know, like little thing.
Oh, look, I mean, you mentioned this earlier. It's not hard to bump into a South African in Phnom Penh, which is the city of Cambodia, for those of you watching that don't know. But it's really not hard to meet another South African here. I think this is definitely a Sappher's choice. Is that what you call us, Andre? Sapphire?
No, it's these loving words to us. He calls us Sappers, yeah.
You guys, I just want to say hi to Trevor. He is currently riding his bike, so he said that he'll watch the replay. But thank you for tuning in and letting us know. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, there we go. Trev says, yeah, how's it riding bike now? You'll watch the replay. Good, yeah. And yeah, support Trev every now and again. Trev also does a bit of a live show on his Facebook page as well, which is really, really good, and have a lot of fun. Okay, the main question, guys, why Cambodia? I mean, you had Australia, you had New Zealand, you had Canada, you had the UK, you had the whole of Europe, and there's Thailand and China, and we went to dig up some little country that we didn't even know existed called Cambodia. Why did you choose Cambodia?
Well, to be honest, you know, at our time when we were applying to go to Australia,
we didn't know where Cambodia was in the first place until we were told, hey, why not come to Cambodia? What happened? We had to open up a map book and zoom.
Which I think what a lot of people are going to do watching this at the moment. It's like, where is this little spot? Yeah, yes, okay, we were all shocked. We get it. But when we started with Australia, it was more to go in the line of work that we were currently doing in South Africa. So we were applying for our field of work in Australia. And it's all good and well, they need our, you know, specialties there, but it is very costly. And I mean very costly. And if you can financially do it, then that's wonderful. That's really, really great. But for us in our position that we were in, it was like, okay, so do we wait another 5 years? Do we wait another 10 years and eventually get that goal, which is great. That's no problem with that either. But is there another way that we can do this? Can we go about this a different route? And we kind of came up with this 5 to 10 year plan that we can start traveling and making money at the same time, working up to that goal to get there. And even if Australia isn't the end goal for us in the long run, wherever we end up, I don't think travel can ever be taken away from somebody and say it's a bad thing. Travel is always such an incredible experience. And you guys inspired us to come here specifically because it's always easier on your first travel, because this is the first country that we've gone to together.
It's just been such an enlightenment for everything. Like,
you guys did that. You knowing that you were here, knowing that we could contact you and ask you how you went about it, which is exactly why we wanted to do this podcast for everybody else, helps so much when you get to a foreign country with a huge amount of culture shock. So the reason why, you guys.
Well, we did have joint custody in a writer, which is another story.
Nandi, Niels, how did you guys do it? Why did you decide?
I think generally, when you're looking at going to another country, there's so much stress and fear around it. Going there, like, where am I going to stay? How do I get there? What do I do? There's just a lot of pressure. So you have to weigh in your options. And most countries, you need to have a job before you even put your foot there. And
Absolutely.
Cambodia, at that stage when we came here, it was open. You could get a visa on arrival at the airport. And Cambodia, at that stage when we came here, it was. And
for us as well, the same as you guys. When we came to Cambodia, my sister was currently already living in Cambodia for 2 years. So that is how we found out about Cambodia. And the big thing is Cambodia is a small country. Everyone in South Africa knows Thailand because for South African, it's cost effective to go to Thailand on holiday. So everyone knows Thailand,
Yes.
and because of the Vietnamese war, everyone knows Vietnam. But no one really knows Cambodia, which is in between those two countries. It's literally the one side of Cambodia is on the border of Thailand and on the border of Vietnam as well. So it's a small country that no one really knows about because there's not a lot of history that is straight or that is directly pointed at South Africa. So South Africa doesn't have direct communication with Cambodia. And so we had my sister here and she was like, come here. And with her, she's 3 years younger than me. And if my seeing was if she can make a positive living or a good living in Cambodia at that young age, what's holding me back? Why am I not doing it? If she can do it and have a better life, why can't we go and we have a better life as well? We build ourselves a life. So that is the main reason why Cambodia. We had someone here, and it was easier as well because of the plans that didn't go through with Australia and New Zealand. Cambodia was our best option to start our life over.
A possible question of why not Thailand or Vietnam? China is very, very, very popular as well.
Manandi?
I'm waiting for all the fingers. Well, Andre, you know this very well. We need a teaching degree or a bachelor's degree in order to teach in any of those other countries. Cambodia is one of the only countries that you don't necessarily, as of now, need that degree for majority of the schools to teach. If you want a high-end school, then of course you need that kind of certification. But as a starting point, you don't need that certification to get into these teaching positions in Cambodia. That's also why Cambodia. We had a friend that went to Thailand, and within 6 months he had to come back to South Africa because he didn't have a degree. The school was prepared to pay him under the, to make a plan and see if they can work it out, but they weren't able to do that without a teaching degree. So fortunately for us here, that helps. But in the long run of things, if we want to go somewhere else, we're going to have to look at degrees to be able to.
But it's great to be working in the teaching field while studying and getting a degree to further ourselves, because we'd love to go to Peru and Greece and who knows, Brazil, Suriname, everywhere else.
That's
I can wrap the reason for Cambodia. We just wrap the reason for Cambodia. And, well, hello. Laura says, cool chat, guys. Moving takes courage and determination. And goons.
Oh, that's cool.
I like you always got the ship for life.
The woman of light.
Lovely. Okay, so if I wrapped it up, there's two big reasons, or two big decisions that actually sway your decision. Number one is the degree, because currently, well, under normal circumstances, I think we're all under agreement or in agreement that currently COVID has changed the playing field for coming here at the moment.
Yeah.
It isn't what it was when we came, and isn't what it was when hopefully COVID is under control and over. At the moment, there are different external extenuating handicaps on coming here as well. But the two main reasons that I can compile quickly is everybody actually knew somebody or had somebody that would be able to assist them or inform them and things like that. And if anybody's watching or going to be watching the recording or the stream further on, you're welcome to get hold of us if you're wanting to have a bit of a hand. There's a whole ton of mail things and that, and I'll put the mail and that up separately, but we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. There's a whole Facebook page, and there is an email as well that each person mans, and we'll hopefully be able to help you out a little bit as well if you do decide to pop over. But it was A, because you knew somebody, and B, because to date, so far, Cambodia is one of the few countries that does not require a degree. Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, China, Malaysia, all around us, except for this little dot in the middle, as Mengs goes, if you zoom, you find us, Cambodia. Does not require, there we go, does not require a bachelor's degree. And even if you do end up in some of the other countries, you may get a job, they may offer it to you, and they may pay you cash or whatever, but you are always running the risk of the authorities and the Department of Education, which will create standard straight-out deportation to your country of citizenship. And if you're coming from South Africa, I sincerely doubt at this time you want to be going right back there again. I'm going to drop one on you guys, and I know it's a question that we haven't looked at, but somebody mentioned going to Australia and going to Canada and going to New Zealand was expensive. What's your cost for moving to Cambodia?
For us, on total, it cost us about close to 30,000.
And that's like 1/10 of what it was going to cost us to move to Australia.
Australia would have cost us close to $250,000 with the expression of interest for a permanent residency.
Mm.
And we're talking rands. Oh,
Rands, not,
not dollars, not real rands.
So with us,
we had it a little bit different because I came a month before Niels came to Cambodia. So financial-wise, we had to divide the money that we had into two parts because I had to come to Cambodia and still survive for a month before Niels came over to join me here. So for us, we got a really good one-way airway ticket that was 6,500 for the one-way to come to Cambodia, which is really, really good if you look at the current pricing or even the pricing to go back home. Moving from South Africa to Cambodia, airplane ticket-wise, it's really affordable. It's not something that you can say, listen, you're not going to make it because it's too expensive. It's really affordable. So if you don't have that money, it's not 20,000 to get a hold of. So yes, for in total, if moving here, getting an apartment, sorting yourself out with food before you have a job, you will be looking for two people at about 30,000. So for me by myself, it was like about 16,000, between 14 and 16 for me, for one person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before we carry on, I just want to point out that I don't know, Anna van der Linde is bly vir julle, maar ouma en familie mis die kinders. Hulle is nou ons kinders, ouma. Don't worry. Getting back to price, I'm just checking it in here. We were needing, and if you are looking to know what you want or what you need to put together, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me, you need about $2,000.
Yeah.
Crossed over to current conversion ratio, 35,300 rand. Your flight tickets alone are going to cost about 15,000 one way, and that's if they're happy to do it one way with you when you go. Also, one of the few countries that you can come in one way.
That's for two people. Just to make it clear, it's if two people come over this way.
15 or two people, it was 15. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yes. It's 7.5 per person one way. Yeah. 15 for two. So yes, if you need to have a return ticket as well, you're in a bit of the trouble. But it's also one of the few countries that aren't too strict on it as well. No one has asked for it, although do check as you go along, but it's still okay. That's what helps to have people on the other side. Keep checking, because sometimes things are just changing this way and that way. But yeah, I'd say about $2,000, which is about 35,000 rand, because when you get here, you're going to probably spend about 2 weeks in a hotel.
Yeah. Because you have to secure.
And then it's deposits and everything. But we'll get to that point, because I think I'm veering off the current subject in question. So I don't know if we've covered everything. What made you move to Cambodia? I think everyone is at the end of their tether. It's not that the country's bad, because if you have a good job and you've got responsibility and your kids are at school and you've got a house and everything like that, and you've got a lot to lose, you're starting over with next to nothing. It's a clean slate. But if you know what, you've got a lot to lose if you've got a lot invested. We basically didn't have. Let's take a look at the next one, guys.
I want to go to the next question that I think a lot of people's asking is, what procedure had to go through in able for you to get to Cambodia, and what was the experience that you had during these procedures and during the steps that you had to take before even boarding the plane? Minx and Manandi, if you guys can tell us a little bit about
Yeah. Well, I'm going to kick it off simple and sweet with literally 6 steps. Step 1, TEFL certified. That's what we had to do. Global language training online. Doing it literally took us, 2 weeks?
Yes.
We studied over Christmas and New Year's. Boom. Step 2, IDs and passports.
Now, guys, you got to listen to this, because this is very important.
Do not have a resting bitch face, and do not shave your head before you get your passport done, because you are literally stuck with that for the next 10 years.
Andre, you're going to give us a little show on that photograph that we want to explain to everybody why this is important, because otherwise you're going to end up having literally your passport photos looking like ours for the next 10 years. Next 10 years.
Oh.
While we're looking at that photo, Steve, but firstly,
yes, but also upon you getting your ID and your passport, do make sure they spell your name and surname and the numbers and everything correctly before you take it from the Home Affairs. Yes.
And then step 3,
Sell everything.
like
Everything. If it don't fit in a suitcase, don't take it with because you don't need it.
Step 4.
Oh my gosh. So, attempting to buy a plane ticket during the Eskom power outage in South Africa because Eskom is the #1.
Yes, you must choose it at that time. The power outage is at the perfect time to get your plane ticket, because that was our experience.
Also, make sure you get the right name on the right plane ticket, or you will be a little bit in Hong Kong.
Step 5.
Take a vacation.
Yes.
Let me tell you, spend those last 2 weeks in a swimming pool, lounging around, because you're going to need this vacation to de-stress yourself before this life-changing event comes and hits you.
And then last but not least, step 6.
Say your goodbyes, have your last puffs, and off you go.
Lindy, do you guys want to tell us how you went about it?
In a nutshell.
Our experience wasn't so eventful because we didn't have any time for all of that. So what happened is we did our TEFL way ahead of time already. So our TEFL was done about 1.5 years before we actually moved. So we had the certification in order, but our passports was not done yet. So I haven't had my passport ever done. So it took some time. And as we all know, Home Affairs is not the quickest to do a passport. And I have the worst of luck if it gets to going to Home Affairs. So what happened with us was we went on the same day for our passports. And obviously we knew I was going to take the first flight and he was coming only a month later. And obviously we got the message saying, listen, come and pick up your passports. So we went there, and when I got to the counter, they said, listen, sorry, your passport is still processing. And that was 2 weeks before I was getting on the airplane. Well, I didn't buy the ticket yet because I didn't have my passport. But it was 2 weeks before I had to fly because I had to come and start the new month at a new school because that was the logic way to get a job based in the sense of it's a new month, it's a start of the month. So what happened with me is I waited until 2 days before my flight to get my passport and book my flight ticket. So I literally booked my ticket 2 days before I got on the plane. So
Yeah, so obviously passports is a major thing. You can pre-apply for a visa. You can do a electronic visa on the internet. So, or you can do a visa on arrival. That is allowed still here. You get your visa on arrival from certain countries. Not all countries is allowed to get a visa on arrival, but some of the countries actually do get a visa on arrival. So yeah, you can check and do it online beforehand or through the ministry. Alternatively, visa on arrival. Yeah, but we'll get into more of that later. Yeah, it was a major thing. That's why Yolandi came earlier than me, because we needed to get our feet on the ground this side and needed to find a place to live. We needed to start earning a living, because she's already had teaching experience. We wanted her to come first, and I finished up at home, finished packing and making sure that everything was put
I
away.
left all the work for him to do.
Yeah, she pretty much
Good
did.
woman, that's a good woman.
I just want to take a look at the below before we carry on as well. As Laura says, we moved from South Africa to Germany, and thankfully my wife's company paid for a substantial portion of the move. Because this out, guys, the total cost was in the region of 150,000 Rand. Cambodia sounds very affordable.
Yeah.
Laura,
Laura, you can still move here,
They're there now.
Interrupted you. Carry on there. I just wanted to bring Niels, you were busy on your move there.
Yeah, so pretty much we did visa on arrival, but please just make sure beforehand if you need to do a visa from South Africa or whichever country that you're coming from and deciding to come to Cambodia, look into that. Otherwise, there isn't a lot of documentation that you really need. You need your TEFL certificate.
It's really easy to come to Cambodia when with no crisis, but with the airplanes going and everything, because you don't need a lot of documentation. You need your personal documentation, a TEFL certificate, and an airplane ticket. That's what you need. Yeah. Shortly put. And Andre, how did you go with your TEFL and everything to get to Cambodia?
Number one, you need to make the decision and you need to make a commitment. You can't play in between. It's a commitment you're going to make. Once you make the commitment, make sure you've got a TEFL certificate. And there's different ones. You can take a look at the links inside. We'll put them below and on Instagram and that as well. These are the two that has been used between the six of us. But your TEFL certificate is ever so important, especially if you're looking at coming over to get a teaching position. It is pretty easy. Well, currently with COVID and schools closed, not as, but when schools are open, it is pretty easy. Get your TEFL certificate, bottom line, before you carry on. But this is also after you've made your commitment. Make a commitment, get your TEFL certificate. As Minx Manandi said, sell everything. Don't expect to be don't expect to be able to get back. Yeah, don't expect to get back. Be able to get back to take care.
Because what you have, what you come with, is what you own.
Yes, so
there's no leaving stuff behind or anything like that.
This is what you have when you leave.
2 suitcases.
That's it. That was every single belonging in the world that we owned when we left for Cambodia.
What's on the pink suitcase? Are those strawberries?
No. My daughter decided right through the night to decorate both our suitcases and leave us a note on each suitcase.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh,
so she did one for me and she did one for Andre. So our suitcases were never the same when we woke up the next morning.
Yeah. So yes, sell everything as well. You don't want any loose strings. B, get yourself a bank account that is going to work in overseas as well. It doesn't have to be a credit card. You can get debit accounts. There is a Standard Bank, I think FNB as well will do it, where you can swipe your card. Because when you get here, you're going to be wanting to swipe a little bit. However, do be careful because swiping does take a humongous amount of money off your bank account. I'm talking about a foreign account. And then close up all you take care of everything that needs to be closed off. Close off electricity. Try and close off cell phone accounts where you can. Close off everything, all your loose strings that you are required to close off so that you don't have anything coming back to haunt you where possible. And yes, then book your flight tickets. It is cheaper to book flight tickets online than through a flight company or a travel company. Be careful, but mostly when you do it online, do the checks and everything. We did book it through we were going to book through a travel agency, and then we booked it through them online, and even the travel agency couldn't give it to us at the price that we could get it online from them. So take a look at online tickets for your cheapest ticket. Yes. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not going to be the quickest, but it will be the cheapest. You Helderberg, you swim halfway. No, I'm kidding. Don't. We'll delete that.
I have a question quickly.
Yes.
How much was your one-way flight?
7,500 per person.
Mine was 6,500 on
I think we came. I just rounded off to 15. We were about 13,700 and something. But by the time we run up and down all over the place, plus we added bus tickets in because we were going through the country saying bye to everyone. And graciously, we had sold everything, so we didn't have a car. We sort of had to sell our car to someone and say, yes, but we need to borrow it for the month.
Yeah.
Yes. TEFL certificates, sell everything, book your tickets, book it online, book it in time. Yet make sure you have a passport in time as well. And also make sure that your passport has good amount of time left, because there is no embassy in Cambodia. Your closest one is Thailand that you've got to go to. So if you've got a year left on your passport, bit of a hiccup. Then it was basically saying cheerio to everybody. Do go and say bye to your family and friends, because we were going to go back and visit this year. COVID struck, bam.
Now we can't go back.
It's not there. But it is all a commitment. Somebody said to me, and was my friend actually, when I said, well, you know what, I'd like to do my TEFL certificate. They give you 6 months. I'll do it from January to June, July. Then we can look at resigning around about August and September. October, we'll look at going over to...
Just get it done.
You know what? If you're not going to commit to getting it done and going, you're not going to do it. If you're going to leave it 6, 7, 8 months, you're not going to do it. Once you commit to it, do the TEFL, sell your items, buy your tickets, go over.
Yeah, we did it. We did our TEFL in 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we were done with our TEFL certificate. We did our, that was in January. And February, we worked our notice months where we, at our workplaces. And then, we got on the plane in March and we came to Cambodia.
But don't fool yourself with telling yourself, no, we'll take 6 months to do this and then 2 months. No, do it and get it done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to do it.
You have to commit.
It's a step, and then you've got to get excited about it and have a goal to work with.
Yes.
I have to fill in as well regarding the TEFL certification and paying for the TEFL through the companies that you're using. I think if you use Global Language Training or iTEFL, we used iTEFL and we got specials. So instead of looking at the amount going, that's a lot, just wait a few days or a day or two and just see if you can get a special, because the special can be a lot more. So with us, what happened is we got like a buy one get one free TEFL with the company that we used. So we paid, I think it was 1,000.
No, it was like 2,500.
2,500 rand, which is expensive because that was the cost of one TEFL at that stage. So we paid 2,500 or 2,000, but you paid only for one, and then you had someone can join for free and get the same certification. So yes, Manandi, do you have something about that topic or?
Yeah, no, it's not fair to you guys. We used Groupon's. The American Groupon website, we went onto that. We went and found Global Language Training. But it didn't cost us nearly as much. I think it cost us under 1,000 for two. For 2 courses. It was Black Friday. We linked our PayPal account to our credit card because obviously we couldn't pay in dollars at that point.
Yes,
very quick and easy.
The last of our money, bought a course, and that was it.
But there's multiple ways of being able to do it. If you just keep your eyes open and you keep looking for it, you will see the ads pop up from everywhere. But just please be careful where you buy your courses.
Scams everywhere,
yes.
Everywhere.
So use a link that somebody has suggested to you or that you know of, and that it's an accepted certificate for the country that you're going to as well.
Otherwise, it will be
our
defaulted.
certificate might not necessarily be certified for every country. It's country specified as well.
I just want to tell the viewers as well, and whoever's watching the replay, if you have any questions regarding a TEFL certification or where to do your TEFL or how to do it, like it's a scary thing at first because you don't know how it works. You go do your TEFL, you don't have a cooking clue what's going on. So if you have any questions, email us on montleymix2020@gmail.com. We'll be glad to help you to get the course going and everything. We'll really help in that viewpoint as well.
No, I agree. We did the Groupon thing as well, and if you go straight to global language, I think it's going to cost you about 3,000, between 3,500 per person. And we did the global language. We did the Groupon thing as well. Also on advice of a friend of ours, and that actually closed down on the 31st of December already. We mailed them on the site saying we want to take your group on, or we not mailed them, we actually did a live chat on their site and said we want to take your group on, but it's closed. And they said, well, you can still have it till 12 o'clock tonight. And instead of paying about 3,000 per course, it cost us 750 Rand per course, which is a substantial saving.
Yeah.
If you need help with placement, they also advertise that they will help you with placements. But at the same time, once again, I will say, be cognizant of the fact of where you need a degree. They aren't always very, very assistant or helpful in saying, oh, you need a degree. Yeah, so oh, we can place you there in a job. Never mind if you'll be deported in 6 months' time or something like that. So, yes, and if you do have a little bit more money than what you have, you can come here and do your TEFL here. I know many people who went for a month to Thailand. Scott, he's from Australia, one of our colleagues. He went to Australia and did his TEFL for a month there and actually did classes and everything, the whole toot. So I'm not too sure of the costs. If you want to, you can mail us and we'll find that out for you. But Scotty actually went and in Thailand did his TEFL course here, and then after and they did, should I say, practical and all that type of thing.
Yeah, but if you can do it while you are still in your own country, it is better. It's better to be prepared, and when you get here, you don't have that stress on yourself as well. You can just find yourself a job, because in Cambodia there's a lot of schools and everything, but then you can just concentrate on finding a job and get settled, get yourself an apartment and everything, because when we got here, we stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks. Well, 10 days. It's like 10 days before we moved out, but we were very fortunate. We were here, I think, 3 days, and we found work at one of the schools. So sometimes you're fortunate, sometimes you have to work a little harder and just go from school to hand in your
We'll tell you how
CVs.
to do that when we get to that point as well,
yes.
yeah. But let's take a look at the question. What procedure and experience did you go through before boarding the plane?
Okay, so what went through your head, baby?
No, question 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry. My bad.
Different page. Yeah. Woke up nice, bright and shine.
Yeah, well. Coffee. At 4 a.m. in the morning, the first thing going through anybody's mind is coffee.
Lots and lots of coffee. So that was her concern. My concern was making sure that we had all our bags. And we had so many bags. I think we had 3 bags each, 2 bags each for the plane, 3 bags that we had to put in.
Laptop, PlayStation.
We did not travel lightly.
Cameras, hair kit, makeup kit.
Yeah. Excessive as it was, we weighed everything. We were so confident in like the weight of each item that we were so excited to get to the airport. When we got there, we weighed everything in. We were 19 kilograms overweight on our luggage. Now, firstly, I realized that our scale was lying to us. Yeah, listen, at my mother-in-law's house, all of that luggage, we were under. All that luggage you see, we were under. And then when we got to the airport, we were not. And you know what that made me realize? We're not skinny. So not only did the scale lie to us about how heavy our luggage is, it's been lying to us about our weight. So we're sitting there and thinking, okay, no, it's fine. Maybe a couple of hundred it's going to cost us for this extra baggage. Yeah, no, it's like 130 Rand per kilo times 19. It's over 20,000 Rand that we would have had to pay. So they were sitting in the middle of the airport, unpacking all our luggage to find out which bag we can get rid of. Because we had to get rid of a whole suitcase of things. We couldn't take a whole suitcase. Eventually we get this all right. We go and have our breakfast, the last week. We go through the check-in, and our first bag has not just, the nail scissors that you're not allowed to take on the plane? Guys, the nail scissors?
Sorry, we're having a technical
Yes. Okay, no problem. So the nail scissors that you're not even allowed to take on the plane, we didn't just have nail scissors. We had 17 pairs of hair scissors, which they proceeded to then drop and confiscate from us. So I'm trying to frantically run through the airport to get to my mother to drop off these hair scissors so that she can courier them to us at a later point. Well, we managed just in time. Eventually we get to the line. We get to the front of the plane where you're about to go in, where you show them their ticket. This is the only protection we had on our face. So you can imagine the looks we had with the ear and the mouth.
No wonder they
down.
look at you.
Exactly. We sit down, everybody's staring at us. Now, you're frantic as it is. Okay, we can breathe. Now we sit down. This white other man that's sitting in the plane with us, thinking I'm just as confused as he is, reaches in front of his chair. You know those little chairs with the things at the back with the pamphlets and the safety houses? The chair. You know the eye masks?
Yeah.
He uses it as an eye mask. Puts it over his mouth because we started traveling during COVID. And that was a very big surprise for us at the time as well. I think everybody's very desensitized to what's happening at the moment, so I'm not going to go into detail. But to two people coming from a country that had no idea what was going on, first time leaving the country, walking through the airport where our hand sanitizer was also confiscated from us.
Because what? She said, no, the coronavirus is only for the foreigner. You will not get it. Thank you, South Africa.
That was our experience of leaving the airport.
Yeah. And I mean, you tell us what was going on in your minds for departure.
To me, I was scared, to be honest, because it was my first time leaving the country by myself as well. So I went to the airport with Niels. They dropped me off. But after I went through customs, I had to do everything by myself. I was all alone. I had no one to comfort me or anything. So to me, it was really scary, especially waiting, not knowing where to go, trying to get someone to help you, tell you where the gates are, because when I got there, my gate did not show in South Africa on the board yet. So I was still stressed out with that and waiting for my gate to pop up on the board, running around up and down, worrying because I know, listen, I've got a flight. So it's really scary as one person to go by yourself. But I can tell you guys that even though it is scary, it is worth it because you will be fine. I was fine going there, and I was fine when I got on the airplane. And it was, from my point of view, as a girl alone on an airport, it was scared, but I went through it. I got through it.
Just want to answer a question, and I think maybe Manandi, it goes to us all, but I don't know if it's maybe aimed for you there. Karen Focus Rousseau says, for someone who has never taught before, everyone can answer, how is the classroom? I imagine it to be very daunting. Does the course provide direction on how to teach? Now, I think, Ilandi, you had quite a bit of, you've had university experience and a bit of teaching experience, but yeah, downstairs, who didn't? I mean,
to
No,
me,
she was
first,
pointing at Alandi to say yes. You
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, I love you, Karen. I love you, Karen. I love you.
to me personally, to answer Karen's question, I can't speak about how it's to not have a classroom or not have been in the situation of the classroom before, because when I came to Cambodia, I already had 5 years of experience. So I was teaching in South Africa for 5 years already.
Yeah, that's what I said. Manandi.
What I can say in regards to
names
that,
are very similar, that's why.
Karen, what I can say, even with experience, it is completely different to teach in a foreign country where all the people is to you a foreigner. Like it's a culture that you've never experienced. So as a teacher with 5 years experience teaching in Cambodia in a classroom, it's a lot different than what we're used to in South Africa. So that's my point. I know Manandi and Mings, you guys have never taught a day in your life before. So what did you experience?
Well, actually, Minx has done a lot of head education with a lot of adults and teenagers. So she's worked with a much older age group, and I've also worked with your college students. I haven't worked with the younglings like the kindergartners. So essentially for me, when I did the course, I was expecting the course to help me a lot more. I really did expect it to assist me a lot more in a classroom environment. I think specifically the course that we did with global language, it was a very general outlined course that helped with a lot of like external knowledge on different methods of teaching and different eras of teaching that have gone through time. But I don't think it prepares you enough for when you walk into a classroom. You have to have your own knack for teaching in order to do that lesson. The biggest shock that I had walking into a different cultural classroom was that I was super impressed by the level of English that these students had. I mean, we've got students, and not in any way bashing to our younglings back in SA, but our kids that are in SA that are maybe 3 or 4 years old, nowhere near the level of speaking that some of these kids have here. And this is a foreign language to them. So that shocked me quite big.
Yeah, it's a you know what, TEFL does teach you classroom management as well. One of their modules is classroom management and class management. However, what they also do tell you is that you need to be able to adapt to the needs and the requirements of your class and your students in that as well. So I don't know if anything can actually prepare you for the real thing. You need to have the right attitude, I'd say, when you go in, with a positive attitude and with the right going in, and then you need to adapt to what you have learned from TEFL maybe, and also you need to have the right. It doesn't help having an autocratic, short-tempered person going in and trying to teach 20, 30 kids that are, you know what, pretty well educated, but they're still kids. You know what, they're still naughty, they still talk. You need to teach them, some of them you need to teach manners because they don't really have manners at home, especially with the private schools. It's a lot of money they have, so they can sort of tell you. I don't know how Ina's experience is, but yes, TEFL gives you a classroom management course, but you would have to do your own adjustment or adapt as per what your class is needing. We've taught in 2 different schools, and the way we taught in the one school is different to how we teach in the other school because of just the difference.
I just think when we got here, I started with kindergarten, and it's kindergarten 1. And like Manandi says, yes, these kids are really, really way advanced in the language and also in what we're teaching them. But because I started in kindergarten, I don't think it was that difficult for me because, I mean, you girls are not moms yet, but I mean, as a mother, you know how to speak with those little ones and what their needs are. So I think it made it a little bit easier, and the curriculum that they give those little ones to study is not that difficult. So yes, but I think for primary and secondary, it's a little bit more difficult if you've never taught before. So what I think you should do is examine yourself and see what you think you will be capable of doing, and go for that first. And as you progress, you can maybe, if you see chance for going higher, go higher. That's the only way you're going to learn and get experience. But yes, it's also different because it's a different culture. They do things differently. They've got different ways of how their kids are getting, how you handle the students. So it's things that you also have to take in account when you do teaching. So you can't just fall in and do like we did in South Africa, because it is not the same. It's not the same, but it's really a very well experience. And also to learn the culture of this side is very interesting. And also to deal with these little ones. I mean, they're just adorable, endless adorable. And you get so attached to them that it makes it worthwhile doing this teaching.
Yeah, I think that's really true what you said, about you have to study yourself and identify what you are good at. If you're going to go into a teaching position, Yolandi's passion has always been little ones. So she is an ideal kindergarten teacher, and she's had experience with all the students, with older students as well, and yeah, she just still enjoys the kindergarten more, working with the younger kids. Whereas for me, I prefer working with a general older crowd, a primary, secondary sort of student. I wouldn't be able to work with the little ones. I think might be a bit impatient for that, but yeah, you need to go and figure it out for yourselves. Where do you see what is your area of expertise? Are you a patient person? Are you good with little ones? Are you good with a little older kid?
Yeah, no, it's true because I do not say that men can't do kindergarten, but I think it's easier for women to do kindergarten because of the age of those little ones. I mean, yeah, they start nursery. Nursery starts at 2 years old, and then kindergarten 1 is 3 to 4 years, and kindergarten 2 is 4 to 5, and 3 is 5 to 6, and then they go to grade 1. So you have to have a lot of patience with these little ones, and it's literally hands-on. You cannot do a lesson and not pay attention to most of those little ones individually because I mean they're really, really small. I mean, if we think of it in South Africa, there is no ways that these little ones, our little ones, will be able to cope with this. And these little ones, some of these kids go to school the whole day. I mean, they don't go to school and 2:30 they go home. It's a full day school for them. And the earliest the little ones go home is like 3 o'clock. And that's the kindergarten. Primary is until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So yes, it is an adjustment, but like I said, it's real rewarding. And I am really glad that we did take the leap and do this because I enjoy it, and Andre is enjoying it as well because his passion is teaching. It's always been teaching.
Okay. Let's. We're starting to get there, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the schools and the internal bit about the schools and that as well. Yeah. One more question there. How many kids in a standard class?
Depends.
How many kids do you guys have? We have in the region of in the main campus, we could have 20 to 25 children.
Yes.
And then
currently
Calmed campus can have about sometimes only 15, 16 children.
Sometimes 23. I have 23 the coming year and 16.
They are not South African sized classes of 40 kids per class. No, we are not allowed to. It's a private school. They actually pay to have your kids in a more compatible size. I don't know, Lundy, Niels, what's your experience in that as well?
With me, I have had the opportunity to work in a few different levels, like age-wise levels, and also I've been at 3 schools. So from my first school we attended, I was teaching at, was a quite big school in Cambodia. They have 5 campuses over Phnom Penh, and they had bigger classrooms. So there was times when I had 25 to 30 kids in my class, and when I moved to the university, I was teaching or lecturing the first year university students. I had 5 students in my class. So it shrink because of the fact that obviously kindergarten is a lot more than studying a certain subject in university for your degree. So when I was teaching the university kids, I had a smaller classroom because it was more intense. It was on university English level. Where with the school I'm now, the whole school is just starting up. So now currently I'm having in the middle, I've got 14 students. So it differs from school to school.
You guys haven't had kids yet because school's closed down, or did you have kids at all, Nandi?
Yeah, I taught for about 2 months before school closed down. We've got anything from 26 to 15. Just depends on the level.
I'd say that in average, just to answer Corin's question, you've got an average of about 20 kids in a class, give or take 5 now and again, 3 to 5 now and again. Okay, right.
It's private school, so it is smaller classes. You might one day get into a situation where you have 45 or 48 students in a class due to a school being short-staffed. But yeah, generally you won't get into that situation because it is private school.
Yeah. Let's wrap this one up with the last question, and then we'll continue it from next week on again. But what went in your mind during departure? Is that one, or is this the last one? What went on during your trip?
We actually went from going from departure to school because somebody asked a question.
Yeah.
So we went way off the rail.
We've got a little bit off, which we will actually crash into probably next week.
But it's okay. It's fun.
What is in our mind in departure? WTF.
So
WTF. When you get there and you realize, there's all the excitement of going, you bid everyone a nice farewell, it's everything new, and you get there and now it's reality.
Yeah.
And you haven't left the country ever before.
Yeah.
It's like, but you're really excited, and I think the bottom line is just an attitude. If your attitude is right, you've got to come with the right attitude. You will be miserable, you will be unhappy, you will be unsure, you will doubt yourself, and you will always think that there is something better that you left behind or something better that you should have done if your attitude isn't correctly focused.
Yeah, the thing is, it was quite an excitement. I take much easier than Andre. You can take me anywhere and put me there and I will be happy. For Andre, it's a different story because he plays everything in his mind. So he's an overthinker where I'm not. So I was excited. It was quite an excitement for me because here we go. We're going to plane. We're going to a different country and it's going to be one big adventure. And it's actually still one big adventure for me. I mean, for Andre as well, because we have actually achieved quite a bit in the time we're almost here. We're going for 2 years in Cambodia, and I can't believe that the time has flown so quickly. But yes, and it's like Andre says, the attitude. If your attitude is right, you will make the best of it. I mean, it is what you make of it. Your life and your experiences is how you see it. And if you're going to make think that you can't do it and it's not possible, it will not be possible. But if you're positive about things and outlook in life, it will make things so much easier for yourself because you have to come with an open mind and you have to actually mentally prepare yourself because it's a big step to take. It's a different country, and especially if you've never been out of the country. But by seeing how these people live, that they also have trials and tribulations, and it's not sometimes easy for them. It makes it so much easier, and you appreciate things much more. You do appreciate things much more, and our lives are better here. I mean, we are happy. We are happy staying in Cambodia, and yes, it's a third world country, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what you make of it.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it because we've gone neatly over an hour without even realizing it, and we've got so much more to tell and so much more to talk about. We've sort of started scratching the surface for the couple of people who have been on. Thank you very much. For the people who are going to watch the recording and the play, kudos to you. Thank you very much as well. Nielsen and Lundy, thank you very much. Manandi and Minx, thank you very much. We hope you'll be back
on Sunday.
Yeah,
coming Sunday.
You know what would have been worse if you'd gone onto the plane like that and ordered a halal meal.
No, guys, please just imagine a face and head shaved and a cap and glasses and looking all dodgy as hell. Like it's honestly.
Well,
no wonder why they stopped in Hong Kong.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I know. that look, I don't know. I'm not sure about that look.
Is Leslie saying so proud of you for leaving and making it such a big success? It's never easy starting over again. Yeah, no, thanks, Les. We know you've had the same experience as well. You've left family and children behind as well to move to the UK. So kudos to you too. Well done. But guys, yes, thank you very much for everyone that joined. I hope you've had a bit of fun and got a little bit of knowledge and bared with us or bore with us a little bit, because being our first one, hopefully we've got one of many adventures. As I say, this is just the 1, 2, maybe 3 that's coming to Cambodia. Then we'll hopefully grab a whole lot of other topics. We'd maybe, if somebody knows how to and what to do with your money when you're in Cambodia, medicals, maybe investments, retirements, whatever, places to go, people to see, we'd like to bring you on if you feel that you can, or get into contact with somebody that may be able to give us a little bit more information. Just a quick one, if you are looking for a little bit of information, there is a site called South Africans in Cambodia. Let's see if I can get the right one up there quickly. Bam, yeah, there we go. South Africans in Cambodia is a Facebook site, which is also filled with an immense amount of knowledge as well, if you are asking, and we find a lot of our resources and stuff over there as well. Yeah. So you can take a look there. But I'm going to say bye and my closing now, so I don't have to waffle again, and then apologize that we will be playing our intro at the extra, because we haven't made an extra yet. so guys, thank you so much all the way, and take care.
We'll speak again, and thank you for joining. Love you guys.
Over to you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.